call this regularly scheduled meeting to order. If you'll join in the salute to our nation's flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll do roll call and declaration of conflicts of interest, but let's start with, do we have an attorney present? Welcome.
Thank you. Councilmember Abram? Here and none. Councilmember Bixel?
Here and none.
Vice Mayor Moniz?
Here and none.
Councilmember Phillips?
Here and none.
Mayor Bublak?
Here and none. All right, approval of agenda as posted or amended.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Abram?
Yes.
Councilmember Bixel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Moniz?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes, passes on a 5-0. And now, Chief, if you'll join me. Fire chief, that is. Chiefs. And I believe we need somebody up here. The retiree. Look at he's got too big a smile. So wrong. Just try and tone it down a little bit. All right, it is my honor, but also sad, to be able to honor your retirement as the Division Chief, Michael Harkson. You began your service here with the City of Turlock as a firefighter trainee on June 7th, 2004, and rose through the ranks to firefighter, fire engineer, fire captain, fire battalion chief, and division chief. And you were honored as Firefighter of the Year in 2006, I believe. And you played a vital role in maintaining and standardizing the department's apparatus fleet, overseeing the acquisition of 2 fire engines, 3 light fleet vehicles, and establishing a memorandum of understanding with the City of Modesto for fleet maintenance and repair. You faithfully served the City of Turlock and its citizens for 22 years with professionalism, integrity, and dedication. You honorably retired this position as Division Chief on August 7th, but you plan on taking a little time off between there, huh? That's not right. So wrong. Fishing. The City Council wishes to express its sincere appreciation to Division Chief Michael Harkson for his exemplary service, leadership, and commitment to the City of Turlock. So, therefore, I, Amy Bublak, as the mayor and our City Council, on behalf of our community, we do hereby wish you the best in your retirement and hope that you'll come back for 960s.
I support that.
Would you like to say something?
So, well deserved. First of all, congratulations to Chief Harkson. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with you, to know you professionally, to know you personally. I'm honored to call you a colleague. You've been my right-hand man in doing so many things, and I could not have asked for a better operations chief and someone more dedicated in service to our community and the fire service and the citizens that we serve. And I'm very grateful for what you did. I'm very grateful for your friendship. We're going to miss you a lot. I support the idea of bringing you back at some point. That's good for everybody. So thank you for your service. We appreciate you, and you'll be greatly missed. Thank you. Thank you very much.
First of all, thank you very much. It's been an absolute privilege and an honor to serve as a firefighter for the City of Turlock. A lot of people often thank us out in the public, and my response to them is it's a truly a privilege to serve and serve with a servant's heart, and to be able to have the opportunity to do that here in the City of Turlock. I'm a country boy from northern Merced County, so for me, Turlock is my town. And for be able to provide my career and serve my whole career here with the City of Turlock has been an absolute privilege. To start as an engineer in a fire department with 4 stations and work on engine companies that had a lot of older individuals in the organization at that time, and there was 2 of us on each fire engine, so a total of 9 people on duty at a time. To see what the department has become in my tenure here has been very, very awesome. And then even with the resource and boundary drop that has played, and to the level of service that my engagement as a chief officer has parlayed and ultimately yields the greatest service that I think that the City of Turlock could come to realize in fire protection right now. So with that, I definitely want to thank the City Council. I want to thank all of the directors and employees and everybody else that I have come to develop some very great working relationships with, and with the councils over the past years, and supporting the fire department through funding and through the purchase of new fire engines, things that were definitely connected to the things that I held is in my court. And lastly, and mostly importantly, I want to thank my wife and my two boys for basically supporting me throughout this career. As from an ag kid coming out of ag, going into the fire service, and kind of leaving the family farm and leaving that industry to come in and embracing a firefighter lifestyle. It's not a job, it's not a career, it is a whole lifestyle. It is a big change. Looking back, I was kind of doing some math. There's 7 years that I did not spend at home with my family. Through the course of my time, there's 7 years that I was not home with my family. And granted, that's scattered over 22 years, but you look back and it's those missed opportunities. The schedule did afford us times to be able to do things with our family that we normally wouldn't have, but it is a pretty big gap. So, but at the end of the day, thank you to the City of Turlock for offering me this opportunity to serve in this capacity, and I look forward to my retirement.
Right. Now we have the public participation. This is a time set aside for matters that are not on tonight's agenda and within the subject matter. I do have some cards filled out here. We will start with Glinda, if you're ready.
Thank you. My name is Glenda Hoxie, and I've come to talk about the National Day of Prayer. Our nation has a rich history of prayer. This year we'll celebrate our 250th birthday, and we'll also celebrate 75 years of the National Day of Prayer. In 1887, after weeks of no agreement working on the Constitution, Benjamin Franklin suggested prayer. In part, he stated, in the beginning of the contest with Great Britain, we were sensible of danger. We had daily prayer in this room for the divine protection. Our prayers, sir, were heard, and they were graciously answered. Have we now forgotten that powerful friend, or do we imagine that we no longer need his assistance? He also stated, the longer I live, the more convincing proofs I see of this truth, that God governs in the affairs of men. And if a sparrow cannot fall to the ground without his notice, is it probable that an empire can rise without his aid? We have been assured, sir, in the sacred writings that except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. I firmly believe this, and I also believe that without his concurring aid, we shall succeed in this political building no better than the builders of Babel. We shall be divided by our little partial local interests. Our projects will be confounded, and we ourselves shall become a reproach and a byword to a future age. To me, it seems like we're in a pretty similar place today. As early as 1775, the Continental Congress declared a day of prayer to seek God's guidance and protection as they sought independence from Britain. In 1952, President Harry S. Truman signed the National Day of Prayer into law, and in 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed into law the designation of the first Thursday in May as the annual observance. Our theme this year is Seeking Him in All Generations, 1 Chronicles 16:24. We'll be celebrating in Turlock on May 7th at Compass Point Church, which is at 2006 East Tuolumne Road, hosted by Four Seasons Christian Fellowship, with an hour of prayer for our nation, our state, and our city. It will be held from noon to 1 p.m. Everyone is welcome. Our nation desperately needs God's help today. As we acknowledge our need for his guidance, we know he will hear our prayers. We hope that you can join us. And I do have flyers out on the table for anyone that's interested. Thank you.
Jeff?
I'm reading this condensed letter for a concerned Turlock citizen. The unedited letter can be viewed on Facebook, Save Turlock. Esteemed members of the council, this letter is to express my deep concern regarding an individual who has announced intentions to run for mayor. Over the years, she has exhibited a pattern of behavior that, in my opinion, has caused significant harm within our community. It is my belief that she and a small group of supporters continue to spread division, hostility, and fear throughout Turlock. One of her most vocal supporters does not reside in our city, yet attempts to influence local affairs. I firmly believe neither she nor her associates embody the integrity or values that Turlock deserves in its leadership. This group frequently instigates conflict while portraying themselves as victims. It would be easier for them to name those they have not threatened, defamed, or harmed than to account for the extensive list of people they have targeted or betrayed. Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors awarded this individual the Veteran of the Year recognition for District 2 in 2024, which includes the city of Turlock. There remained many unanswered questions regarding her military service, including whether she served active duty or the reserves, and whether she completed overseas deployments. Candidates for public office should be transparent about their backgrounds, especially when invoking veteran or disability status as part of their public identity. I believe these questions should be answered before such honors are accepted or promoted publicly. I'm troubled by the decision of this individual to remain on the Stanislaus County Veterans Board while these concerns continue. Her continual involvement creates unnecessary controversy and places other public officials in a difficult position. Public service requires putting the welfare of the community ahead of personal interests. I'm also disturbed by the tone and content of her Facebook page, Turlock Exposed, which she is the administrator. It contains alleged illegal recordings, aggressive videos, and defamatory commentary that damage our community's reputation. These posts, often manic and hostile, warrant concern and at times a welfare check. I strongly urge residents to disengage from this page and refuse participation in its negativity. Those contributing to this page are in effect pouring gasoline on the fire and appearing to enjoy watching it burn. The community is speaking and the sentiment is clear. This behavior is both unwelcomed and unacceptable. I'm generally concerned for the safety of anyone targeted by this group and recommend additional security measures at public meetings as those of individuals regard everyone as fair game. I encourage others to exercise precaution, avoiding financial transactions or private interactions with these individuals. These comments reflect my personal opinions, protected under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Respectfully, Janet Doe. Would you like a copy of this?
I think we have them. They got sent to us. Thank you. Ramon?
Good evening, council members, Madam Mayor, and the general public. In response to hearing the lawsuit brought by Governor Newsom regarding housing, I think the idea is the reason why housing shortage in California is bad because of various zoning laws, various red tape and regulations that makes building houses impossible. But we can show the governor that we can do it. We can definitely start building mixed-use zoning, which I've explained a couple meetings ago. Having housing and businesses at the same area. And I've been to Livermore, where they have townhouses that are nearby small businesses, and also Santa Clara, where in Satana Row, by the mall, where there are shops and restaurants on the first floor and apartments on the second floor. And also at the same city, I went to Micro Center, and there's also housing on the second floor on top of Micro Center. And I thought, if Santa Clara and Livermore and other cities can do it, so can Turlock, because Turlock is growing. We have a lot of potential to grow. And one of the main reasons, instead of relying just on single-family homes, is using all the above combined of making housing close to businesses so people don't have to drive far away and they can spend their money here locally while we can grow the economy. People can stay here. They don't have to drive. And also we can boost more jobs so we can bring in more businesses here in Turlock so people can move from other areas to make Turlock their home, as well as Turlockers to stay at home without having to move elsewhere. So I consider to look forward to making the zonings for housing a little bit more open and more flexible so we can show the governor that we can do it without having to be stuck in various red tapes and regulations. And trust me, I know the housing issue is really, really, really hot, but confusing at the same time because so many red tape. But I can see Turlock having numerous homes and businesses at the same area together. One example, that empty plot by the university, right by your apartments, that could be a good place for having shops at the first floor and apartments on the second and third and fourth floor. And also on Monte Vista crossings, where there's Hobby Lobby and the bowling alley, we can build numerous apartments, townhouses, complex, duplexes, whatever you want, as well as businesses, shops. And we can see that Turlock can have that potential. Thank you.
Milt?
Good evening, Milt Treeweiler. Comments on the Turlock Fire Chief. It's very bad for us residents of Turlock to have a Modesto Fire Chief replace the Turlock Fire Chief. Let's look at the facts. Did you know that there's a lack of consistency and stability in the leadership with the Modesto Fire Chief in charge? There were 4 different deputy fire chiefs assigned to Turlock and 3 different Modesto fire chiefs in Modesto over the past 4 years. Was this good for us Turlock residents and our firefighters? No, it was not. It was a danger to all of us who live here in Turlock. We residents of Turlock are getting cheated by the vote of the mayor and our 2 council members. With Modesto in charge, our Turlock firefighters had no say in the decisions that were being made by Modesto on how the fire department operates as a department and how Turlock is running its own fire department tactically. Several times the Modesto fire chief called out Turlock fire trucks to Modesto, leaving just 1 fire truck to cover all of Turlock for 2 or 3 hours at a time. At one instance, the Modesto pulled all of the Turlock fire trucks out from Turlock at one time. This is never would have happened if we had our own fire chief. What if you were the one who had an emergency and someone else had a fire during this time? You may have lost a loved one. Turlock is also losing the man we train here in Turlock because Modesto hires them. When we lose these firefighters to Modesto, it puts a strain on our Turlock firefighters because it makes the Turlock Fire Department short-handed. It costs more money for Turlock because our city has to pay overtime to fill the positions for our firefighters to be fully staffed. With Modesto in charge, we have no control over the costs and how we operate here in Turlock. We want someone who can represent Turlock's best interest. Yes, having our own fire chief is the only way this will happen. The residents of Turlock don't want the Modesto chief of police to be the chief of police for Turlock, nor do the residents of Turlock want the fire chief of Modesto to be the fire chief for Turlock. These fire service agreements between the city of Modesto and the city of Turlock are a disaster for all of us Turlock residents. We want our own fire chief here in Turlock. Thank you.
Vilma?
Hello, good evening. My name is Vilma. I am actually a student at San Jose State and I'm pursuing my master's in public administration. And so one of our assignments was actually to join the city council meeting. So this is my first time. I'm very excited.
Welcome.
Thank you. I actually do have a question. Sorry, it's more of a comment and question in two. But my question in regards to the council is what are some ways and inspiration for youth and young adults to want to make local change in this area, especially for the city of Turlock? Thank you.
So unfortunately, we can't answer now. At the end of the meeting, which probably shouldn't be that long, we have our comments, so hopefully you can wait for that. Okay. I don't have any more cards. Justin, did you have something?
Good evening, Turlock Council and residents. Justin Farkas representing the Office of Assemblyman Juan Alanis. I hope all of you had fulfilled weekends with Love Our Neighbors taking place over the previous weekend. Our office was hard at work. We attended Love Turlock and Love Modesto last weekend, and as well as the previous weekend, took part in Love Patterson. So really got an opportunity to give back here to the community that we're grateful to represent. getting into what's happening in Sacramento, there's 5 bills here that I want to highlight for you folks, all of which are currently in the Assembly Appropriations Committee. Assembly Bill 1814 establishes minimum training requirements for peace officer training and identifying impaired drivers. California has some of the most lax laws in terms of driving while intoxicated. Assembly Bill 2328 raises sentences for hit and runs resulting in severe bodily injury by 1 year. Assembly Bill 1612, in the similar realm of public safety, establishes a statewide process to destroy evidence like narcotics, which I'm sure the mayor and Chief Hedden can tell you plenty about. That's been quite a confusing area here in our state now that we don't have any incinerators left. So handling that type of evidence has been difficult for our local enforcement and larger law enforcement agencies. One more. AB 1765 was actually given to us by Councilwoman in series, and this bill would expand disabled veterans license plate program from 8,000 to 10,000 pound vehicles. Definitely a positive opportunity for our disabled veterans in our community. That bill's in the Appropriations Committee. And Assembly Bill 2282. This is really a landmark bill for our office. This bill will allow for emergency stabilization services to be provided in the city of Patterson by Del Puerto Healthcare District, which is going to be an enormous fee if we're able to get it passed and signed by the governor, as they don't expect their First Acute Center to be fully built out until about 2045. That bill also in the Assembly Appropriations Committee. With that, my final update here, she had her first meeting here. This will be my last meeting representing the office of Assemblyman Alanis. I've taken a position in a different office with the state legislature, and I will be starting over there on Monday. So hopefully you folks don't miss me too much here in Turlock. I still anticipate to be involved in other ways, and I can also tell you that you will still be very well represented by one of the other individuals who works for the Assemblyman. So thank you guys, and most of you have my number. If you need me personally, happy to give it to you.
Justin, what was the bill number on the destruction of evidence?
That bill is AB 1612.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
You'll be missed.
Anyone else who did not fill out? Yes, come on.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jacqueline Valenzuela, and I'm a student and part of this community. I also serve as the Secretary for Family Advocacy and Resources Alliance. I am here today to invite you and our community to join us to our upcoming event for children and families, including those with disabilities. We will have Lucha Libre, local performers, and they're from local academies and groups, along with raffles and free goodies. It's a fun and welcoming space for everyone, and we would love to see you there. The events will be on April 30th at Central Station Bar and Grill from 3:30 to 7:30 p.m. And our annual Turlock Cinco de Mayo will be on May 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on First Street. At this event, we will have the honor of having the Mexican Council speak and offer resources to those in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on up, Mary. Oops, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Apollo was coming.
Good evening, I'm Mary Jackson. I have a couple questions. I'm hoping that our recording equipment is better. I talked to Chief Hampton about it, and he said you guys are ordering new things or new equipment to be in compliance with the new law that we're going to be able to Zoom, which is a huge benefit for so many people, including me. Number two, I was curious when the fire admin contract is coming back to the council to be voted on. And is it going to be made public? It has to be made public so we can review it. And what Mr. Treeler talked about, it sounds like what we called chief's disease when I worked in Sacramento. The CHP was actually doing something similar. If we've had 7 people being moved up to chiefs, they make more money. And that usually your retirement, at least in teaching, is the last 3 years. So obviously, if you're a teacher, you want to become an administrator, or you want to go to a higher paying district, which happens a lot. Or they try to, and now I think people have figured it out. So it doesn't happen as often as it used to, if you're mindful of your budgets. But when I was there in 2004 to 2006, Senator Gloria Romero called out chief's disease in the CHP and showed how much millions of dollars was being put into people's pensions. And if that's what's happening locally, it needs to stop. Because just if those numbers are accurate of what Mr. Treeweiler said, in 5 years we've had 7 chiefs, that's padding your retirement. It's plain and simple, padding your retirement. And so the good news is that there's a state, I think, personnel board that reviews pensions, and so they try to stop them from doing this. It happens with superintendents. It's happening locally right now with county superintendents across our region, as well as local school superintendents. And the thing is, it's on the backs of our grandchildren. We're not going to deal with it, but our grandchildren are. So I really think you need to revisit that decision. I hope, and I know you expect, we'll have a lively discussion about the contract. And I think people are paying attention. Whether or not letters are printed in the local paper, the information is getting out on social media. So I would really behoove you to listen to the people who come up and speak. And if it's accurate that there are 7, and I will verify that, then you have your own local version of Chief's disease. And I'll leave you with this. I've got Gloria Romero. I had interviewed her because she was the number 2 in the Senate. She said she would never drink publicly because she would be pulled over by the CHP when she questioned. And it was really damning to think of that. But if you really think about how much money that you're playing with in the state of California, it's a lot of money. And again, our grandchildren are the ones that are going to be paying for it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Come on up.
Hello, everybody. Try to be a little bit more calm today. Excuse me for a couple weeks ago. Kind of lost my temper. I didn't appreciate getting disrespected while it was my time, so I had to assert my rights. So forgive me if I offended anyone, but that kind of stuff shouldn't be happening where we're getting erupted during our time. Moving on from that. I'm here for the same reason again. This is now my 5th time here, Mayor, regarding the same issue. And there's still no resolution. Since the last meeting that I was here, I had mentioned this. No action that I know of has been taken. I followed up with the development head. She's not here today. She is here today. Adrian Werner. I got hung up on. I spoke to 4 different members of the building and safety team. They said we're going to pass along. No one got back to me. I followed up on 3 different emails. I CC'd both of you on those emails. So since the last meeting, I've sent 3 emails, have been unanswered. I got hung up on them. I sent 3 emails following up with you guys CC'd. And not even answering my 11th, I just had a simple question. Who's responsible for enforcing California Building Code in the city of Turlock? That's all I want to know. Who is responsible for enforcing California Building Code in the city of Turlock? Because every city is different, and the way the city of Turlock is structured, it has its own building and development department. So if there's a California Building Code violation, the city of Turlock is responsible for enforcing that. Now, people in the development department want to get clever because they want to protect the developers and HOA, and they say, oh, this is not a permitted item. We came and we looked, and we realized it's not a permitted item, so we're not involved. So they're gonna see a repair that's a very poor quality repair that affects 25 members of the community that have 25 homes there, and it doesn't require permits, so they can make horrible repairs, and you have to live with it. Basically, is what it is, and it shouldn't be like that. Whether you own a home or you're a tenant, you should have equal rights. And when you're not enforcing the rights, you're discriminating. And I told you guys that. And this is an audit. And I work with Housing Urban Development. And I told you guys that. And you guys are losing millions of dollars because you're pushing me out. Instead of bringing me in knowing that I'm good for the community, I'm a school teacher, and I'm a building official with the Housing Urban Development, you guys are pushing me in and disrespecting me. If this is a process of investigation that takes a year or 2 years or whatever, then you can tell me on the side, say, Mike, this is going to take some time. We're working on it. Just be patient. No one's done that. I feel like I've been getting played by saying it was a permit item. Now we're just avoiding it completely, and no one's getting back to me. It's very disrespectful, and I'm really concerned this is how people get treated. It's not about me. This is about how my community gets treated, and if someone needs help from the community, they should be able to go. If they're doing bad repairs at their home or their neighbor's home, they see something, they should be able to come to the community and say, hey, we're having these issues, and someone say, we'll be there right there within 24 to 40 hours. As the website says, we'll send an inspector there right away. But because we're not an owner, we can't get a permit, sorry, we're not touching it, then if someone comes and does poor quality work at our homes, who's one that enforces that? That's what I'd like to know. So I can speak with that person, we can have a meeting, we get some solutions.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll close public comment. Move on to, there are no updates from city manager reports. Consent calendar. Is there anyone wishing to speak on any of the item right now?
I'd like to have item 8N pulled for discussion, and I'll talk at the time it's pulled. Thank you.
Can you just tell us now? Anyone else? Okay, I'm closing public comment.
Move to approve consent calendar minus item N.
Second.
A motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Abram? Yes. Councilmember Vixel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Moniz?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes, passes on a 5-0. Item N, Nora. Or is it M, Mary? Which one was it, Melt? N, Nora. Okay, Human Relations, Acting Fire Division Chief. Did you want to speak to that, sir?
I can, yes. Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, members of the public. So the item before you for your consideration is to bring retired Assistant Chief Tim Tejan back as a retired annuitant to support the work that was being done by Division Chief Mike Harkson. This is a transitional role intended to fill the gap until the position is permanently filled in-house. So I have 3 goals that I'm looking at for the fulfillment of this position. Number 1 is continuity of operations. Number 2 is to do some development of our upcoming battalion chiefs and hopefully newly promoted division chief into that position. And number 3 is to make sure that we are remaining connected to the line and the work that they are doing. So Tim is coming in short term. He has tremendous depth of knowledge and experience that he brings to the table in his service as an assistant chief for the city of Modesto. He oversaw the contract out with Stanislaus Consolidated, and one of the things that I really admired and respected about him in that role is he was a very strong advocate for the needs of Stanislaus Consolidated while being employed by the city of Modesto. And so that's the heart and the passion that I'm looking to bring to the table right now. Mike leaves some big shoes to fill. We have a lot of big lifts and things that we are trying to accomplish within the department. Some big initiatives we're looking to move forward. I don't want to lose traction on those things. So this is intended to be a short-term assignment. I'm estimating that it'll be complete in early August when we make the full transition back to our newly appointed division chief from an internal recruitment.
Thank you. Any questions, Chief? All right, open it to the public. Milt. And we will answer any questions after we close it.
Okay, Milt Treeweiler. This is exactly what I was just speaking of. Did you know there was a lack of consistency and stability and leadership with Modesto Fire Chief in charge? There were 4 different deputy fire chiefs assigned to Turlock. Now it's 5. This is another fire chief for the city of Turlock. Turlock citizens, that's what's happening here with Modesto in charge. It's not working. We are getting the short stick of this. We are not getting the service we deserve here in Turlock. They've made excuses over and over again. I know this is not for retirement purposes. This is because these are people that they can get. But if we have our own fire chief, we're not going to be running into these type of issues. And that's just the way it is, folks. I want you to understand that. You know, I was born here in Turlock, and I've been coming to these council meetings for 13 years. And this kind of stuff should not be happening in Turlock. We need our own fire chief. Our fire chiefs and our police of chief and our fire chief, our chief of police, but also our firefighters. I have 3 minutes to speak. I have 3 minutes to speak on discussion. That is in the agenda. You read it, it's there.
The timer just went off, sir.
I gave him 1.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm not paying.
Give him 2 more.
I didn't see it. Milt, it wasn't purposeful. Please proceed.
Okay.
Let's go.
So, we know how hard it is, how much that they have to put up with as a fireman and as a police officer. We have a good relationship with our police department. We do not have a good relationship, at least the people here in control do not have a good relationship with the fire department. These people really suffer. We just heard the chief, the person who retired. Actually, that person could have been our fire chief, possibly. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a possibility. He's here and he's retiring. Why did we let him retire? Why didn't we just assign him as the chief of police at Turlock? That would have been a good answer to this problem. These people put their lives on the line. I understand that in the past, firefighters, actually more firefighters were killed in action than police officers. I don't know if that's still true, but I know with 9/11, we lost a lot of first responders, whether they were fire or police. This is not necessary. To serve our best interests in Turlock, we need to have our own fire chief here in Turlock. It's not a hard thing to do. It's just a matter of will and a matter of being reasonable and doing what's best for the citizens of Turlock. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Come on up, Ron.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hate to be a bugger. Welcome to our new city attorney. And I guess you're taking over as city manager? Is a coup going on here? Or? I know. I'm just kidding.
Fake news.
Yeah. Fake news. I'm doing fake news. Yeah. I thought the item was about a temporary position. And I don't think we force people who want to retire to take on another job for 3, 4, 5 years. So I'm not quite sure what those comments had to do about this particular consent item. So that's all I wanted to say.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll close public comment. Bring it back. Was there anything you want to comment to that?
I'll just reiterate what I said. This is a transitional position. Our intentions are to permanently fill the division chief with an internal recruitment. I want to maintain continuity of operations. I want to maintain a connection to the line. And I want to ensure that we're doing development of our future battalion chiefs and future division chief in the position. And I can think of no one better than retired Chief Teachin to do that for us.
Director Dami, real quick, do we spend more money on an annuitant or less?
We spend less money on an annuitant. It's just their base salary. We don't pay any benefits.
So we're saving money.
On a retired annuitant, yes.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Abram? Yes. Councilmember Bixel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Moniz?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes, passes on a 5-0. No final readings, no public hearings. Action item, accepting the City of Turlock Strategic Communications Plan. Mr. Sims, you got people here?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City staff, and members of the public. Before you tonight is the draft City of Turlock Strategic Communications Plan, prepared by Slate Communications. Staff is asking Council to approve a resolution to accept the plan. Currently, the City does not have a formal strategic communications plan in place. This plan establishes a clear and consistent framework for how the City communicates with residents, businesses, and stakeholders. It's designed to improve how we share information, ensure transparency, and strengthen communication and engagement across the community. In February 2024, staff issued an informal request for qualifications, and Slate Communications was selected based on their extensive experience working with public agencies. Slate brings over 100 years of combined experience and has completed more than 100 communications-related projects for cities and organizations nationwide. Work on the plan began in July, August 2024, and the draft is before you tonight for approval. As part of the process, Slate Communications conducted a comprehensive review that included stakeholder, staff, and community interviews, community workshops, review of existing communication tools and digital assets, evaluation of branding and messaging consistency, a full SWOT analysis, and identification of improvement areas. This was a thorough and data-informed process to ensure the plan reflects both organizational needs and community expectations. The plan serves as a guiding document for the entire organization. At this time, I'd like to introduce our consultant, Ms. Kim Newcomer, the CEO of Slate Communications. She'll provide a brief overview of the plan and highlight some of the key findings and recommendations.
Welcome
Thank you,
back.
Anthony. Thank you very much. I can make this taller. Mayor and Council, thank you for having me here today. I'm just going to review briefly what we did to form this plan and some of the outcomes. I'm happy to answer any questions either along the way or at the end, but I believe you have a copy of the full plan with you, so if you really want to dig into the details, you should have that in front of you. Anthony already went over this process, but I just want to say that I think the most important thing we did was come out here and spend a few days in Turlock and actually talk to people. One of the things about our firm that I'm most proud of is that we work with cities, counties, local governments across the country, which gives us a really good understanding of baseline communications, but there's nothing like actually getting to know a community and talking to people, talking to staff, talking to council members. So we did spend some time out here in addition to all the research and data that we did. And what that did was kind of give us a foundation from which to work. And so we had 5 big key takeaways. One is that residents really do speak positively about the city and have deep roots and pride in the community. You can see that tonight. Everyone is here because they like Turlock. They have a love for this community. They want it to be better. And that actually is really different than a lot of places. A lot of places you see a little bit more apathy. But with here, the sense of community is palpable. And I think that is something that we really wanted to try and capture in this plan. At the time, we really realized that you could segment your communications better, really talking to everybody about the same things and saying the same things. Your business community may be interested in some things while your residents may be interested in others. And really need to understand the preferences of our audiences, if you will, so that we can better cater information to them. Communication efforts should include both traditional and non-traditional communications tools. Okay, so really what that means is, unfortunately, we have to do all the things, right? So that means we're online, we're on social, we're doing print, we're doing in-person communication. Everybody's styles are a little bit different, and you do have a wide range of demographics and interests here in Turlock, and we really want to make sure that we're at least meeting everybody at some place where they are. Creating consistency in communication methods, timing, and distribution will increase reliability and credibility. A big kudos to the communications team and the mayor for implementing your monthly message. People start to expect communications at a certain time, which is a really good habit. We want them to hold us accountable to saying, hey, you send this out the first of every month. I'm looking for it. I'm waiting for it. I want this information. And doing that more and more and more increase the level of trust and reliability, and that's something we really want to encourage. And then finally, developing response standards and guidelines will make interactions more effective and efficient for staff and residents. What we heard when we were here is that sometimes you are in an interaction and it's wonderful, and I get my follow-up and I talked to this person and I called Anthony and he told me this and it was wonderful, but then I had a different interaction with someone else. What we really want to do is kind of set a standard of how do we respond to our residents and really hold everybody accountable after that. So where we start with these communications plan, this first high level, I'm not going to read this to you, don't panic, but really we wanted to set a vision for the program and then set some plans for the goals themselves. You're going to see some buzzwords on here, but I think they're actually important, right? Transparency, how do you make decisions and why? Community engagement, how do we connect with the people not only in this room, but those folks that couldn't make it here tonight? Accessibility, so this means both translation and ADA compliance. Leveraging technology, that's something that I know you're working on. We even heard it here tonight, but how do we do that even better? And then finally, strengthening this brand identity. So at the end of the day, what are we trying to do? What this plan does is lay out 5 priorities. It's really about providing open, timely, accessible communication, right? It's really wonderful to get information, but when you get it 3 months later, it's not quite as valuable. We're really trying to work on how do we resource this so people are getting information when they need it, and it is still timely and accessible. Robust public participation and civic engagement. I'm going to say it 10 more times in this presentation. This community is engaged. It's ready to be involved and to work on solutions together. How do we harness this in the most positive way possible, and also set expectations so that folks know when they are asked for information, that feedback's being used in the process, and when it's not, right? Because some decisions are just made, and we need to be clear about those expectations. Develop a cohesive brand framework. One of the things we realized was that you actually did have a lot of brands out there, from the city to the fire department, police department, transit. How do we actually make all of those work together and support each other? And then finally, expanding partnerships and then utilizing technology. And that's a little bit just a different wording than what we talked about before. So how this plan is structured is we took each of these priorities and we put together recommended strategies and then actually tactics. So it gets pretty granular. Again, I'm not going to read every slide to you, but I'll just highlight a couple of key pieces of each of these. Open, timely, and accessible communication. Two really important things that I think we should highlight in this one is that standardization, like we talked about before, standardization and consistency. And then also we realized that there wasn't an actual emergency communications plan in place. You know, heaven forbid that you actually need it, but we wanted to make sure that we have some actual tools in our toolkit. I'll talk a little bit about that to help you be prepared for all of these types of incidents. Public participation and civic engagement. Again, one of the things that is really important, and I think what Turlock does well and we want to build on, is personal connection. So how can we create more informal opportunities for you to have conversations, discussions, listen to your residents, have residents ask you questions in a way that's not as intimidating as a podium. No one likes a podium. Well, some people can do a podium, but it's intimidating. And so we really want to make sure that in all of this effort, we're creating those opportunities for human-to-human connection. And there's other strategies in here as well. You know, how do we, share information earlier and more often, really meet community members where they are, whether that's online or off, and really trying to build those relationships. I spoke quickly about this brand framework. There's some recommendations in this plan about how do we pull all of those city brands together so that folks know where their tax dollars are going and what they're being spent on. And then also it's an opportunity for some storytelling. I will say your Economic Development Department does a great job of storytelling. We want to expand that into other city services and other segments. Partnerships, what amazing opportunity to have CSU Stanislaw right here, and how do we actually continue to welcome young people and students into city government. Oh, there she is. So wonderful to have you here, and I think it's absolutely amazing. How do we get more people like you involved in our government? Because being involved in the government means being involved in the community. And then finally, this idea of technology. I hate to tell you, but we did recommend redesigning and streamlining the website. We know that's a huge lift, but I think there's a real opportunity there. You have a mobile app that a lot of folks know about, but maybe even have on their phone, but they're not actually using. So we want to take the tools that we have and we've already invested in and put time, energy, and effort into making them usable and popular, I should say. One of the things that is really important to us at Slate, so what I did not do is introduce myself at all. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm a CEO of Slate Communications. Prior to starting Slate about 13 years ago, I actually was in-house at the city of Fort Collins. I was their communications director for 6 years. I hated nothing more than getting a big fat plan that I couldn't fund, I couldn't resource, and I couldn't do. And so one of the commitments we made when we first started working with Anthony was a really honest assessment of what are the things you can do no cost, what can you do low cost, and what's going to take some money. And those are decisions that you can make, but at least we're being honest about what that will take to accomplish some of these things. We also wanted to make sure that we gave you what we call toolkit items. So whether that is, you can see here like a process map, if you will, for how do you spread internal information, whether that is other pieces that are brand guidelines, media tips, how do we do all of those things? So there's some really like tangible deliverables in this plan that I think are really helpful, particularly as you're spinning up a department and a program. I think that's about as fast as I can do that. So I am happy to answer any questions, and pleased to do that now.
Questions?
Thank you so much for coming and presenting this, and this will become a question, but I just want to start with I'm really appreciative of the granularity and the perspective that, communication is not just what we put out on social media, but it starts with how we answer the phone and how we handle those interactions and, through the whole gamut. So thank you for that perspective and bringing that complete package to us. My question is a little bit more for Director Sims. In the latter parts of this report, there's the high priority and how long that'll take, medium priority, how long that'll take, et cetera. I'm just curious if you could elaborate a little bit more on, like, do you see that working with the staff that we have, and knowing that, yes, we are having a new website come out, I think June, July, maybe, hopefully. So I'm just curious, if you could speak a little bit to the implementation of that. Page 43.
Yeah, definitely. So what's good about this plan is that it comes with an implementation plan, and as Kim had stated, it shows each action that we can do along the way and what the budget cost is for there. With the opportunity of a PIO coming on, this is an excellent tool for that PIO to take on, and then also for other departments to kind of use as a guideline as we're pushing information out there. So we're really just looking at this implementation plan, ongoing or continue doing, high priority, and then media priority, because each one will implement within 7 to 12 months upon plan adoption, different strategies that we can do. And I'd like to say some of these that we actually started doing. And so we're doing more video work, or working with more departments, getting more information out there. So yeah, we'd be using this as the implementation plan.
Other questions? Okay, open it to the public. Close public comment. I want to just mention that we keep talking about what it looks like for our customer service, and I know that we've assigned it to human resources in the past, and I think it needs to be like train the trainer kind of thing, and it shouldn't be a one and done, because a lot of times people will bite into the people around you that perhaps have been here longer and they have a different way of doing it. So it's training people to understand that you want to sound the same when you do this, not to be monotone, but to get the right result everywhere. So I appreciate you going through this, and we do have some of the things we already have talked about, the website, things of that nature. We're moving along, so it's not like we heard you and we didn't do anything. So yeah, I know, right? Well, so Will.
Vote to approve. And I'll second, and I'll just say a comment for our city administration. With seeing that there is an implementation plan built in, I think it would be great to put it on the calendar 6, 8, 12 months down the road to see what have we checked off, and because this plan is only as good as what comes of it. So, and I think I have a second. So yeah.
Motion and second. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Abram?
Yes.
Councilmember Bixel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Moniz?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes, and passes on 5-0. Thank you for coming
you very
again.
much.
Thank you, Director. All right. This is council member comments, announcements, and future items. Councilmember.
Yes. Thank you, Velma, for coming and giving a question to the panel. And if I remember your question right, it was about engaging youth in the community and things. Our advice to them, right? Okay. So I would just say to youth that find your niche and find where you can give, because when you connect with people, you realize that edict of love your neighbor, we are all neighbors, and we all have something to give to our community. So thank you for that question. I hope you can disseminate some of that. And then I wanted to say welcome to Ms. Lucchese. You bring a wealth of knowledge from municipal law, and I think you're going to be a great asset to all of our directors, and by extension, you'll really benefit all of our residents. So welcome, and I'm so glad you're here.
I will kind of piggyback on what Cassie said on the welcome, and then back, Love Turlock that went on Saturday. It was great to see so many youth out there. I know, I'm sure some of them are doing it for extra credit, or teams that were there to get brownie points, but it's wonderful to see young people be involved, be excited about it, and it's just a great way to develop community, and it's always fun. Next.
Velma, I will answer your question. Show up and be involved. because it's one thing to sit at home and watch a city council meeting on TV, but when I look out here and I see all you warriors sitting out in the audience, it's an awesome thing, right? And so you can show up and you don't have to say anything and you don't have to participate. And sometimes, you know, our city council meetings are really boring, and then sometimes they're really nutty crazy. It just, you never know what you're going to get when you get here. But being involved and showing up, that's half the battle. And I hope it motivates you to want to be involved more, whether it's serving the community or doing more, or whatever your thing is. And I like the word niche because we all have one. Katie, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And I really appreciate the communication with you and Mr. Petrolakis, because I am under the very big impression that it's been a pretty smooth transition and handoff thus far. And my hat's off to both you guys, both strong, great attorneys. We're glad you're here. Thank you.
And then just to answer Velma's question as far as the youth in our town, I would say get active. If the youth, some youth don't feel confident enough to be able to do something, ask around, get involved. I'm a professional athlete, so I'm all about fitness and health. So if they can get involved in any kind of sports, it's only going to help them mentally, physically, and to be able to communicate and work with other youth as well. Katie, congratulations on being here. I look forward to working with you. And the 30-year anniversary of Yonens, I think it's appropriate for you to talk about that, so I'll leave that to you.
What do you want me to talk about? So, Velma, I came here for college, and I found so many new passions that I'd never thought about. So I got involved, created the first, it was Good Neighbor Day. So Love Turlock became that later. I was on the art commission. There's so many different ways to get involved and find new things. Don't go with what your norm is. Like, oh, I'm comfortable here. Find new things, because you're going to find new friends. There's much to do out there, whether it's churches, sports, or even just different pop-ups. You'll find what you need. And I wanted to talk about Love Turlock being an exceptional event. I think that you could make just another day, a group of you see a need and go and fill it. We don't have to do it once a year. Just you see a need, join a group of people and try and help out somebody who needs that. As I drive by Monte Vista and Walnut, and I see the opportunity for so many people to perhaps have their own place or move here to Turlock, I think, okay, what now with my app for Turlock? How do they know instantly how they can get online and take care of what's going on in the city of Turlock? How do we get a QR code on everybody's door so they know how to identify with us immediately what's going on? I hope that we can come up with something, Mr. Sims, so that the first day they move in, they are like, okay, good, I'm a part of that. Or, Velma, you can go door to door and let them know. I would like you to talk about the HCD, if you wouldn't mind, real quick.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just want to give a quick update. We did receive a letter from HCD regarding violation for our housing element. Quick update, we did within that letter have a response time period. We did respond to them in a timely manner, and I've had to report today that the housing element is actually posted to the city's website. It is part of the publishing process as far as the comments. It will be out on the website for 7 days, and we do project to submit the housing element after that factor on May 7th. So staff is working very due diligent to get back to HCD, have the meetings, and keep communication to get this project completed. That concludes. Thank you.
Economic Summit was a great turnout. A lot of people, new people there. It's super cool. Yonens had their event, 30 years. We had the reincarnation. I had to stand exactly where Mayor Andre had stood 30 years previous, so that was kind of an honor for me. Lots of good things going on. And what was it you want me to talk about?
Yonens.
I got it? Okay.
You got it.
Now, we have closed session, ma'am.
Do. We have Public Employee Appointment, California Government Code 54957B1, Title City Manager, discussion only.
All right, we will report out should there be something. Drive safely, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. back from closed session. There's nothing to report out, so we are in adjournment.